Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Wherever you are, remember, you have greatness inside of you. Welcome back to another AB Daily News with your hockey coach guru, Coach FRENCHY. Today, episode number 233. What do you have in the new coach today? First of all, the Minnesota Wild helps the Montreal Canadiens. The Montreal beat the Winnipeg Jet 4-1. Then finally, Montreal Canadiens, a crazy stat, and possibly at the end, a report card for the Montreal Canadiens. But before we jumping on the subject today, we want to remind you, please don't forget to click on the like, subscribe to the Hockey National Show, and leave me a comments about this episode. And please sharing this video on your social media. And let's talking about my first subject of the day. My first subject of the day, guys, is about the Minnesota Wild help the Montreal Canadiens. What are you talking about? First of all, guys, a couple of days ago, the Minnesota Wild signed Matt Boldy a new contract extension. He was draft 12 overall pick in 2019, 3 picks prior Cole Caulfield, and 89 game in NHL. He has 27 goals, 41 assists for a total of 68 points. Boldy just signed a contract of $7 million per year for a total of 7 years and a package deal of $49 million. On the flip side, Jack Hughes, draft first overall pick 2019 by the New Jersey Devils, signed a contract last year, 8 years at $8 million for a total of $64 million. Now, we know the situation with the Montreal Canadiens and Cole Caulfield. I believe because what's going on with Jack Hughes in the past and now Matt Boldy, I believe the Montreal Canadiens are really happy to see the contract of Boldy now. Of course, Pat Brisson, the agent of the Cole Caulfield, is going to bring some arguments of Caulfield is going to become maybe a 40 goal this season, and they see them to score about 40, 45 goals in the next couple of years. But I still believe with that contract of Boldy gave an argument for the Montreal Canadiens. Look what Jack Hughes has right now. Look what Matt Boldy signed. Jack Hughes is super elite players, only got $8 million. I believe now with those two contracts, the Montreal Canadiens are going to sign Cole Caulfield an extension, 8 years, about $8 million. That will give equal the captain Nick at 7.8125. I don't see Cole Caulfield to get more at 8.5, but more close to the $8 million, a possibility at 8 years for sure with the Montreal Canadiens. This concludes, guys, my first subject of the day. My second subject of the day, guys, a little bit about the review of the game between the Montreal Canadiens and the Winnipeg Jet. OMG, the Montreal beat the Winnipeg Jet. The Jet are #1 team in the Central Division, and the Montreal Canadiens played very well for the last 4 games with a record of 2-2. But we heard before the game start, the Montreal Canadiens guys announced they have Jake Evans, Juraj Sikorsky, and Joel Armia, plus before the game, Jonathan Drouin are on ER. And they announced Sean Monahan is going to be now on the long-term injury reserve. 5 elements add on already 5 other players. The Montreal Canadiens at this moment have 10 players on the injury reserve. Unbelievable what's going on with the Montreal Canadiens. They call up for this game Harvey Pinard and Ren Pitlick. Did pretty good for the Montreal Canadiens. And with those kind of injury, they play with 11 forward and 7 defensemen. And they did pretty good. They won by the score of 4-1. We want to mention what happened during the game. It was 0-0 after 20 minutes. And Montreal Canadiens take the lead 3-1 after 40 minutes. And they add 1 more goal during the third period to give that W by the score of 4-1 for Martin Saint-Louis head coach. First of all, that enough scored 2 goals during the second period, third and fourth of the year. 3 players have 2 assists. Justin Barron, the first star of the game, Kirby Dach, and Christian Dvorak. Each one of them have an apple, 2 apples as a assist for the Montreal Canadiens. And finally, Samuel Montembeault have a save percentage of .962 against the Winnipeg Jet. Again, another great performance. Top 25 of the 26 shots he faced against the Jet. Now, I want to sharing with you a video of the goal of the Dadanov, an amazing great pass of Barron. What about the one-timer of the Dadanov? Let's do it again. Watch the pass of Justin Barron and a one-timer of the Dadanov. It was his first goal of the two he did tonight against the Winnipeg Jet. What amazing great pass of Justin Barron. Barron played a solid game with Kirby Dach and Dadanov yesterday against the Winnipeg Jets. Then I want to talk about Montembeault. Montembeault in the last 5 games, straight game, by the way, he has a record of 3 W and 2 losses. He saved 175 shots of the 185 shots he faced. Finally, a goal against average during that span of 5 games, 2.00 and save percentage of 946 for Montembeault. Unbelievable what he's doing right now. Montembeault is the reason why the Montreal won 3 of the last 5 games. I want to talk about Martin St. Louis. He talked during his press conference, his team effort from each players against the Winnipeg Jet. He talked about the back checking with the positioning and the defensive zone coverage. He talked about this concept where it's really important when the player back checking, they have that kind of communication. They know exactly what they need to do on the positioning and how they cover the defensive zone. Really interesting the way he said that. So let's listening for about 2 minutes. Martin St. Louis, his press conference, some in French, some in English.
On a joué une bonne game. Je te dirais, les 8 dernières périodes qu'on a joué, on a joué du très bon hockey. T'sais, on est connecté, puis on reste en dedans de notre structure, puis on prend soin de l'équipe. Collectivement, t'es toujours plus fort qu'individuellement. Fait que nous autres, qu'est-ce qu'on essaie de bâtir ici, c'est un jeu d'équipe, une culture, que même si tu perds des gars... On a joué une bonne game. Je te dirais, les 8 dernières périodes qu'on a joué, on a joué du très bon hockey. T'sais, on est connecté, puis on reste en dedans de notre structure, puis on prend soin de l'équipe. Collectivement, t'es toujours plus fort qu'individuellement. Fait que nous autres, qu'est-ce qu'on essaie de bâtir ici, c'est un jeu d'équipe, une culture, que même si tu perds des gars, c'est sûr qu'il y a des gars qui jouent des rôles importants, mais tu sais que n'importe qui embarque, il embarque, puis c'est comme ça qu'on joue. Puis quand tu as cette mentalité-là, mais t'es capable de gérer des gars qui sortent et qui rentrent. Puis on travaille fort là-dessus, parce que, comme je te dis, collectivement, on est toujours plus fort qu'individuellement. Puis c'est sûr que tu vas perdre des gros morceaux des fois, comme cette année, mais c'est de continuer à bâtir cette culture-là, puis le style de jeu qu'on veut jouer, puis la game d'équipe. Kent's a worker. He's always on the go. He's always thinking about, what's next. He's just a worker, and I knew Kent. I've known Kent for a long time. I knew him as an agent, and I know he was a worker. Always grinding, and that's what he's doing. So I'm not surprised about that, but I think I'm impressed with, with his vision. I'm impressed with he's composed too, but. I think it's good for him that we played this game tonight, so he has to address everybody tomorrow. The big part of transition, it's not so much the guy with the puck. It's it's everybody else. And I say it a lot is I don't really coach the puck. I try to coach the other 4 guys so that we can transition efficiently. And so when you have players like JB, who's very intelligent on the ice, and you're balanced in front of him, he's going to find the play. But if guys are duplicating jobs and not covering enough eyes, they're on top of each other, now it's harder. So I think we're a team that I feel can transition well, and it's mostly because of the guys spreading out and not worry where the puck is, where can it be, and how can I help. And yeah, we did that very well. JB did that very well tonight.
Martin St-Louis, very happy, satisfied about the performance of Montreal Canadiens as a team together. Talk about the fact he's not coaching the guy or the player with the puck, he's coaching the 4 other players without the puck. This is something Martin St-Louis always brings some kind of great analyze about hockey sense. And I think hopefully you enjoyed the 2 minutes about Martin St-Louis. But I would like to finish this game review about Mike Madison return with the Montreal Canadiens. You can see the impact on Madison. Puck position, but the most important thing is the carry on the puck is the transition to not only a great pass, but a carry on the puck from the defensive zone all the way to offensive zone. They open up more opportunities on offensive side of the zone for Montreal Canadiens. You can already see the Madison play over 20 minutes with the Montreal yesterday. Then, what about Jacky? I know I was hard on Jacky at the beginning of the season. I would put myself to wait a little bit longer to see what he looked like. He still struggled a little bit on defensive zone coverage, but again, he's learning. Play only 12 minutes, and it's understanding the Montreal play with 7 defensemen, so it's normal. But what about the fight he did yesterday against the Adam Lowry, where after the fight, he showed the fans the logo Montreal Canadiens is all about. You can see the impact of Piquet Subban did during his speech resonate very well as front player for the Montreal Canadiens. And that's impressive to see Jacky recognized after the fight yesterday. Great performance overall for the Montreal Canadiens against the Winnipeg Jets, but it scored a 4-1, a big W. They go to play Thursday night against the Florida Panthers. So this concludes, guys, this second subject. Please leave me a comment and let's move on for the last subject of the day. Here we go, guys. My last subject is I did some search. It's called the Montreal Canadiens HABS Crazy Stat. What are you talking about? We talked about Cole Caulfield earlier. He can score 40 goals a plus during this season and can become one of the biggest scorers in the Montreal Canadiens franchise. But look what I did. Since 1985-86, no player drafted by the Montreal Canadiens scored 258 goals in NHL. The 2 only players did it in NHL since 1985-86 draft by the Montreal Canadiens are John Leclerc and Max Pacioretty. Accomplished this with other teams too, but no one did it with the Montreal Canadiens. What I want to remind you guys, the last player to did it, I'm shocked when I discovered this, it's Mario Tremblay. I never thought Mario Tremblay is the number 10 players franchise overall with 258 goals in 852 games. He scored rate of 0.3 goal per game. Unbelievable. And the HABS history, Tremblay, like I mentioned to you, is a 10 overall for the most goal with the Montreal Canadiens. The number 9 is Aurel Joliat. Joliat has 269 goals, guys. So what I want to try to bring to you guys, Cole Caulfield, he already have 50 goals with the Montreal Canadiens. If he signed for 7-8 years and he's still with the Montreal with no injuries, Cole Caulfield could become at the end of his contract maybe the top 6 or top 5 best scorer with the Montreal Canadiens past Steve Schott. So it'll be really interesting. But this, guys, 1985, 1986, no one scored more at 258 goals. Just show you how the Montreal draft players are not successful as a scorer or sniper. Leave me a comment, guys, about this crazy stat. I will try to bring those kind of information sometime during the HABS Daily News. This concludes, guys, this episode 233 for the Montreal Canadiens, the HABS Daily News. Here we go. This concludes, guys, this episode 233 of the HABS Daily News. We want to remind you, please don't forget to click on the like, subscribe to the Hockey Nation Live Show, and leave me a comment about this episode. And of course, you have greatness inside of you, and we wish you an amazing, great, blessing day, everybody.